going to go to Scott Reid now. Scott, you've been part of these things. A speech from the thrones are usually kind of, State of the Union-y things in the U.S. context, vision documents. This is not that. I think 2 weeks ago they were talking about a recovery, and they had all sorts of, let's throw the ball long term. The fire is burning again. This is totally different. How consequential is this speech from the throne? And in your view, what does the critical message have to be to Canadians?
I'll start with the second question first, because I really do think it's the fundamental test. I don't think we're going to face a political crisis on top of the other crises that we've been confronted by, in the sense that I think that ultimately the speech will pass. I think the Commons will continue and we will not be forced into an election. But I think, if you're going to call the country together, you say, I'm going to prorogue Parliament, I'm going to talk to people about our priorities, I'm going to set out a new agenda, and I'm going to ask for national airtime. I'm going to command the airwaves, so to speak, of the nation and say, please, gather around and listen. Then you had better be talking about what people want to talk about. And I think it is exactly what we've been listening to already. It is about testing. It is about how do we get through not the next 10 years, but the next 2 years. How do we get through the situation economically? How do we get through it from a public health perspective? How do you address the economic insecurities that I have? How do you address the insecurities I have about my kids going to school and about public health? It starts with public health. And I think there is no political pollster out there speaking to any one of these parties who is not saying to them, you must begin and demonstrate that your primary motivation is public health. All else flows from that. People saying it's time to talk about the economy? Not really. The economy is secondary in people's minds to public health and their well-being. And those are the notes that are going to have to be hit. And I think, frankly, when you call people together this way, you're going to have a little bit more specific content than you normally would in a speech from the throne. What's happening to the CERB? What about the testing issue that we've just been talking about? These are the kinds of things that are going to have to be addressed. If not in the speech from the throne today, then at minimum in the Prime Minister's address tonight. If not, it will be a fail.